All right, today we are diving into a pretty wild experiment that asks a simple question. Can an AI actually build and run a business all by itself? The answer, as you're about to see, is way more surprising than you'd think. Let's get right into it.
So this whole thing kicks off with this single, powerful thought from the guy who created the experiment. He basically had this moment where he wondered, wait, am I becoming obsolete? So he decided to put it to the test. He handed an AI agent a blank check and just one command: go build a business.
The mission here was incredibly ambitious, The idea was to create one of the very first businesses that was built, operated, and run from top to bottom entirely by AI.
So the setup seems simple enough, right? He got an AI agent, gave it a clear goal, and then, and this is the crucial part, he gave it a credit card so it could sign up for whatever services it needed to get the job done.
I mean, it's the question you have to ask yourself when you give an autonomous agent with access to the internet its very own credit card. And boy, did he get an answer. Way, way faster than anyone could have expected.
Yeah, so the experiment almost immediately flew right off the rails. And we're not talking about a small bug here. This was a critical, high-stakes failure that put real money on the line.
And there it is. The creator just put it out there, plain and simple. The credit card he gave the AI got compromised and leaked all over the internet. And of course, fraudulent charges started showing up. Just an immediate, brutal lesson.
But what's truly mind-blowing here is the speed. This wasn't something that happened over a few weeks. The security hole was found and exploited in less than 24 hours. It's just a powerful reminder of how fast things can go wrong out here.
Okay, so after that disaster, it was all hands on deck for a complete and total reset. They shut down the card, wiped the whole system clean, and reset every single password and API key. And they put in some crucial new rules. From now on, the AI had to build its own tools from scratch, and it had to focus on a project that wouldn't put anyone else's sensitive data at risk.
So with these new safety measures in place, the experiment was back on. And this is where things get really fascinating, because the AI agents started to show not just what they could do, but who they were. They started revealing these distinct personalities.
You have to picture this. The creator suddenly finds himself managing what feels like two completely different employees. First, there was Claude, who acted like this thoughtful, kind of chill manager who really understood human intent. And then there was Codex, the brilliant super engineer who was incredibly fast and smart, but also kind of abrasive and awkward, always just wanting to sprint ahead and build.
This quote right here is just incredible. This is the moment you see real autonomy in action. The human creator suggested they use WordPress, a pretty standard choice, but the AI just flat out refused. It actually argued for a totally different platform, Vercel, because it understood the technical needs of the mission better. The AI literally knew the goal better than the person who gave it the goal in the first place.
And their productivity? It was absolutely staggering. Just look at this table. This is what the AI's built. From scratch in one single 6-hour coding session overnight. We're talking a complex feed aggregator, a story clustering engine using semantic analysis, even a ranking algorithm tied into Google Trends. A team of human engineers would need days, maybe even weeks to build all this. They did it while the creator was sleeping.
So after all that work, what did the AI actually create? And maybe more importantly, what does this kind of autonomous power really mean for the rest of us? So the final product wasn't some toy. It turned out to be a genuinely useful tool, especially for people working in the AI field. They built a live, constantly updating dashboard that tracks and compares how all the major AI models are performing against each other. And here's why that's so valuable. If you're in this space, you know that hunting down the latest performance scores and benchmarks is a constant, tedious chore. Well, this tool automates that entire process. It puts all the key data in one place, and it's always up to date. The AI saw a real problem and just solved it. But hold on, because here is the most stunning part, the really insane number. How long do you think it took for the agents to build the very first version of this entire functional tool? 10 minutes. A task that would take a person hours of work was just done in the time it takes to grab a coffee.
And that kind of speed, that kind of capability, it just forces you to ask a much bigger and, honestly, a more complicated question. If an AI can build powerful tools this quickly, what happens when its goal isn't just to build something, but to persuade us, to actually influence how we think?
And look, this isn't just science fiction. This is real research that's happening right now.
Researchers have found something they call a golden gate neuron. You can think of it like a volume knob inside the AI's brain for one specific concept. They found they can literally turn up the knob for Golden Gate Bridge, and suddenly the AI will just start mentioning it more in conversation, subtly influencing what's being talked about without ever being told to do it directly.
So that brings us to the final, really critical question we're left with. As we start to hand over more of our work, our big decisions, and even our creativity to these incredibly powerful autonomous agents, we have to stop and ask ourselves, who or what is ultimately in control?